So we are now going to do another verse where it says there are other 6 things that you should do. So those were the don'ts. Now there are do's and don'ts, both in Bhakti. So here in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami is telling us what are the things that we should do. Let us see the verse first. Please raise your hands who all would like to chant the verse after me. Utsahan nishayat dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vritte satpir bhakti prasidyati. Once again I'll repeat. Utsahan nishayat dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vritte satpir bhakti prasidyati. Yes, Sarvari Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Utshahan nishchayadhairat tat karma pravartanat sangatagat satavritte sabdhir bhakti prasiddhati.
Thank you, Mataji. Jagannath Das Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Utsayan niskayat jayat tat karma pravartanat sanga jayat sato vritte sadbir bhaktin prasidyati. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Ashok Panavikraman Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Utsat nishyat dharyadat tattat karma pravartadat sangat yagat sado vritta sadhar bhakti prasiddhyati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nandini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranam Mataji. Utsaha nischaya dhairat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vritte sadvir bhaktir prasiddhati. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you. Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Utsaha nishchayadhairat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat satuvite sabdir bhaktir prasiddhati. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Rachna Mataji.
Just now Mataji I finished it Mataji. Sorry, might be I didn't listen.
Okay. Manjula Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Utsahan nischayat dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vritte sabdhir bhakti prasiddhati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anuradha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Utsaha nischayad dhairyad tatat karma pravartanad sangatyagat sadovridya sadbir bhakti prasiddhyati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Utsaha nischaya dhairya tatkarma pravartanat sanghatya gatsato vritte shadbir bhaktir prasidhyati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the translation goes like this. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. Number 1, being enthusiastic, enduring with confidence, being patient, acting according to regulative principles such as Tramanam and Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting and remembering Krishna, abandoning the association of non-devotees and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. See Prabhupada's translation of Prasidhyati undoubtedly assure complete success of your devotional service. So we have to believe in the acharyas. To be enthusiastic, it depends very much on belief. So the Prabhupada gives a very beautiful statement at the outset of the purport of this verse, which goes like this. Devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Its substance is practical activity. We need to understand this. Once we understand this, our whole outlook towards bhakti will change very dramatically. You'll have a different paradigm shift, because many of the people think that bhakti means sitting in a corner and doing japa, or just thinking about the Lord. As the gopis spontaneously, they were thinking of the Lord 24 hours of the day. So they think that this is all useless activity and it is nothing practical. So they are all these bhakti yogis are of no use to the society, things like that. But here, Prabhupada refutes this, that very strongly, saying that it is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. What is sentimental speculation? Let's see. Sentimental speculation. One day, so these youngsters who came to Prabhupada as the disciples in the beginning, they were in search of spiritual experiences. So they used to take drugs like LSD, and they used to mistake that hallucinations which is produced by such psychedelic drugs as a experience, a spiritual experience. So they wanted something dramatic, like it happens after taking LSD. So some sort of high experience. But then it is not so. It is not sentimental speculation. One day a reporter came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, Swamiji, they used to call him Swamiji. Swamiji, when I chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I can see red light goes in my head. And Prabhupada replied, you keep chanting, it will go away. So this sort of speculation, if I tell you, for instance, now, my Laddu Gopal likes this screensaver only in my computer, so I keep it. Definitely you can understand that it is something I'm speculating about. At the same time, it is not imaginative ecstasy also, like that comes out of the hallucination of psychedelic drugs. Or sometimes in Vrindavana, especially in the Vrindavana ISKCON temple, some of the Vaishnavas, so-called Vaishnavas, Sahajiyas, they came and some of them were jumping right 6 feet, 12 feet into the air and coming down with profuse tears and all. They were doing a lot of show of Ashtasattva Vikaras. So then they didn't, devotees did not understand or see through it. They went to Prabhupada and asked what to do. They have been dancing for quite some time now. Now we have to go along with our temple program, the Bhagavad Gita class. Just call the security and throw them out. And as soon as the security came to take them out, their veneer of the Ashtasattva Vikaras and the Sattvika Vikaras, that is the bodily eruptions and all those things which happen in pure devotee, all that disappeared. They started abusing in very abusive language. They were pouring out venom. So that then the devotees could understand why Prabhupada instructed them to do that. So it is not imaginative ecstasy that you can fake. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, for instance, there is a incidents where Haridas Thakura, he will hear one madhari, that is that snake charmer. He will be producing that sounds in that sapera. So, and it reminded Haridas Thakura of the Kalinga Nartana. And he became so ecstatic hearing that, and he went into ecstasy and he started dancing in that ecstasy. So, and Haridas Thakura was respected by the whole community. Many people gathered there and they were appreciating his dance in ecstasy. And Madari was also. But then another Brahmana who was envious of Haridas Thakura and his popularity, he came and he started imitating the movements of Haridas Thakura, feigning as if he is also in ecstasy. Then the Madari took a stick and drove him away. Then the devotees surrounding asked, "Why did you do it?" He said, "He is an imposter." So the Madari, even though he not so educated, could understand, the snake charmer could understand what is real bhakti, pure devotee having this ecstatic symptoms, bodily symptoms of ecstasy, and what is imaginative imitation. So it is nothing like that. So Prabhupada is refuting both the things are wrong. Its substance, the substance of devotional service is practical activity. So the devotional service is nothing like, you see, it is not nothing imaginative or sentimentalism. It is something very practical. It is a relationship that you build with Krishna. And what is your commitment, practical commitments in that relationship? Just like any other relationship, take for instance, a relationship between a woman and a man, as they are getting married. So it is not that moonlight dinners where you mouth platitudes like "I love you, honey," or "I cannot live without you, darling," and that is going to last the relationship. That is not going to be the durable thing. What is actually going to lay a foundation is your concern for the partner, and how much are you willing to go the extra mile for their comfort and for their well-being. That is what is going to make the relationship deeper and meaningful and lasting. So otherwise, love at first sight and divorce at first fight. That will be the rule of the game. So we should understand that any relationship, even in relationship with Krishna, our commitment is very important. So let us see this word utsaha. The word utsaha means enthusiasm. And the enthusiasm comes from the Greek word meaning entheos. Theos means God. That means the God within. So when we are connected with the Supreme Lord, then we get energized by his Iladini Sakti, and that spiritual energy is that which we are drawing upon. So enthusiasm is synonymous with spiritual energy drawn by one's connection with God. That is what I learned from a lecture. So even the word entheos is our relationship with God within. So without enthusiasm, you will agree with me that nothing can be, no one can be successful. Nothing can be successful, even in your material life. If you are a student, you have to put in your service enthusiastically. You have to study enthusiastically to become a winner, or a businessman for that matter. For him also, enthusiastic endeavor is required. So also in our path of bhakti, in spiritual endeavor also, the enthusiasm is the. Actually, they say if faith is the heart of bhakti, then enthusiasm is the backbone of bhakti. It's very, very important. It is very important for progress in spiritual life. And here, enthusiasm meaning practical activity. That is what we learned from Prabhupada's statement. Then what action for whom? Here we are not bothered about the academic examination or the business achievements. Action. This action is for Krishna Arte Akhila Cheshta. That is, the endeavor is the whole endeavor is for the pleasure of Krishna. So that is that sort of the endeavor is going to give you results in spiritual life. So let us see what Prabhupada himself talks about, how he talks about enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is a symptom of the living entity. It cannot be stopped. It is just like a powerful engine. If you utilize it properly, it will give immense production. Therefore, enthusiasm should be purified. Instead of employing enthusiasm for attaining material goals, one should be enthusiastic about achieving the perfectional stage of devotional service. Indeed, enthusing his devotees in devotional service is the purpose for which Krishna descends to this material world. So we all learned from the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that why does Krishna incarnate from time to time? Paritranaya sadhunam vinachaya cha dushkrutam. But this is also true that he wants to attract all of us back to the Goloka Vrindavana, to his abode. So he comes from time to time to remind us, to attract us, to enthuse us in our spiritual endeavors. And then, so for us, translated to our life, what should we do? Now, we have to stop, give up frivolous activities like checking the WhatsApp or Facebook status every 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and make time and energy for Krishna consciousness. Unless we prioritize that this is important to me, we will not do it. Whatever is important, that we are doing now. If we think that TV serial watching is important, we will watch it 4 hours a day. If you think that chanting the Harinam is going to be the most important thing in our life, then we will make time for it. Right in the morning, we will come at 6 o'clock, as many of you are trying to do, to come and chant in company of an association of devotees. So it is nothing like everybody has got only 24 hours. It is that if you have got that enthusiasm, you will make time and prioritize your spiritual endeavors. Now, other examples for this utsaha have the acharyas in the disciplic succession. Have they exemplified by their utsaha? Yes, Bhaktivinoda Thakura, for instance, you take. Bhaktivinoda Thakura was not only a great devotee, he was a magistrate. He was a very successful magistrate. He was very much respected by the British government. They made even a railway track for him to retain his services. And he not only did that service to the government properly, but he single-handedly, he established 2,000 Namahattas, preaching centers. That is, Namahattas is the name for preaching centers. 2,000 in West Bengal, all over West Bengal, single-handedly, and each containing at least 50 members. Just imagine his enthusiasm. And he wrote 100 books. He was having 10 children. He did not neglect his children. One of his children, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, he created a great acharya. And he married off his children. He spent time with his children also. So that was the enthusiasm level of Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, the second person next to Prabhupada, whom you see in this photograph, the son of Bhaktivinoda Thakura. He was also a great acharya. He was so enthusiastic, he created 64 Gaudiya Mats, and he had 60,000 disciples, not one, not two. He was such a lion preacher, they will say. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura once took a vow to chant 10 crore Harinam Sankirtan. That Hare Krishna Mahamantra I will chant in 10 crore times. And he did it just within 7 years time. So see the level of enthusiasm that they have shown. And of course, our own Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, how much he did at the age of 70. He took up the preaching in the Western countries to follow the instructions of his Guru Maharaj. He left at the ripe old age of 70, created 108 more temples all over the world. And also, he had more than 10,000 disciples, wrote so many volumes of literature, translated so much of Vedic literature for our benefit, like this Nectar of Instruction and all those things he translated into English so that you and I can access it easily. So that is the level of utsaha that they have shown. So what we have to understand from Srila Prabhupada says it, puts it very nicely. I'll just read it out. Utsahat means very much enthusiastic, just like a man is very much enthusiastic that in this life I must accumulate $10 million in the bank. And he does work with great enthusiasm. Similarly, we must also have similar enthusiasm that in this very life, in this human form of life, I must make my life perfect so that after leaving this body, I may not come again to this material world. This is called utsaha, or enthusiasm. So with this I'll end, and tomorrow we'll see yet another phrase from this beautiful verse of Upadeshamrita. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Mataji, thank you Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.